Chompy Mouth Blasty Gun, or whatever this is supposed to be. This is going to be a review for the Gaburevolver from... Sorry, my chair's the wrong way around. From the Zyuden Sentai Kyoryuger. And, yeah, gun. This is meant to be a revolver, judging from the title of the item, from the name of the item. I got this from eBay. And you would not be able to tell this is actually second hand because there's very limited scratches on this item, but not that I'm complaining, of course. They did include this on eBay did include the original packaged Zyuden, which are here. So which one do we look through? Which do we look through first? I'm just gonna look through the Zyuden first because I'm able to look at these quickly. Then we can move on to this. So these are the Zyuden to people who are more familiar with Power Rangers. These are the Dino Chargers. But no, in Sentai they're called Zyuden. Literally translates to a beast battery, I believe. Odd. So yes, it comes with two. Just move this one into frame just a bit. It does come with two. This is the first one. This is the Gaburevolver Zyuden, or the T-Rex. It's the Zyuden connected to the T-Rex, basically. This is the Gaburevolver Zyuden. As you can see, there's a little metallic sticker, holographic holofoil sparkle sticker. I think that's what it is, holographic sticker. Inside the actual Zyuden, that's got a photo of Gaburevolver or the T-Rex, depending on which one you want to refer to it as. Red colouring of number one, and a photo of the T-Rex logo. Now the thing is, all these Zyuden have logos. That's the thing that I really like about them, even though that some of the logos of the auxiliary Zyuden are just blatant slight recolours of and slight differences, different versions of earlier Zyuden, but they had similar, like they had limited items to go off of. We've got little spikes on the top. We've got a little button. Pressing the button will flip the little thing in the middle around. It'll flip it around to this little glow in the dark sticker. Now this does glow in the dark. This is the brave out stage. Pressing the button, this is brave in, brave out, brave in, brave out, brave in. So there's two slides. As you can see, they are on this little two-sided little tablet thing almost, as you can see. Well, I'm going to try and look, but I can't really tell. Yes, it's a two-sided little sticker. And on either side, you have this pin code. All these Zyuden have these pin codes. These work of the Gaburevolver, as we will soon discover. This little big grey dot in the middle means nothing. I think it's just part of the moulding. This is not a pin. The ones on the sides are. And on the back, we have the Zyuden's name along with the background colour. In this case, it is Gaburevolver. What I like about these is that there's little plus and minus symbols moulded onto the side. So one might actually mistake this for a real battery. Nice. The paint's not too bad. As you can see, there's some yellow. It's done in grey, which I don't think's not too bad, because I think they actually made a metallic set for these Zyuden. They made the grey plastical silver, metallic silver, but I don't mind about that. And there's a Zyuden that the Gaburevolver covers with, of course, the Stymero Zyuden, or this is known as the Dino Keeper Charger. The Stymero Zyuden, of course, is pink, 14. Due to the effects of this Zyuden in the show, because they cause enemies or targets just to fall in love with the first thing that they see, which is one of those more weird effects. Apparently, the fact that this is numbered 14 is, I think, is a reference to Valentine's Day. I think, based on how it's numbered 14 and the effects this has. But nice. Anyway, I think this is based on the Styracosaurus, according to my memory from Dino Charge. Of course, we have the brave out, brave in states here. It's a pin code, and we have one pin on it. On the other side too. We also have Stymero on the back. So yeah, this is done in pink, which is nice. It's nice to have a pink Zyuden. They do rattle around a bit, but that's due to the mechanism inside. Don't really mind that. And now we're going to have a quick look at the cosmetic, well, just the design and paint of the Gaburevolver. As you can see, it's like a gun. Trigger, obviously makes lights and sounds when it is turned on. It's obviously not turned on at the moment. Little dinosaur head. I don't know what dinosaur this is supposed to be. A T-Rex? No clue. There's nice black paint here. Metallic silver for the teeth. And there's also grey pipes as well. Green eye, of course. The little metallic silver piping on here. It's nice and all, but the grey, it's obviously this all supposed to be metallic silver. Luckily enough, the Bandai America version actually fixes this, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, there's grey where the silver should be, so that's a bit of, well, I don't really mind that, but some people might really be bothered about that. There's silver on the top as well, along with a ton of black paint, and the tail has got some red, and the cat and the light's just fallen over. Screw gravity, as that movie reference. Might have something to do with that there was a lock and lock in the way, lock and lock handle, lid in the way, so you go up there, mate. So yeah, very nice amount of silver. There's some black. I think there's a lot of silver on here, which I do not mind. There's some paint on the handle too, black paint as well, black on the tail as well. And there's some black on here, black paint on the little barrel that spins. The barrel's actually translucent plastic, but you can't really, you can just about see through it. As you can see, you can kind of see my finger moving around in the back, but it's not too... It's kind of vague there, if you know what I mean, of course. Speakers here. You got some release buttons on the bottom, as you can see. These two buttons right here, these are used for combinations with future Sentai items in Kyoryuger. And because this is to do with Gaburevolver Carnival in my case, that's a video coming, that's next Monday. I won't be going too far into this. I'll be covering the Gaburevolver Carnival in the next video, so I'll be going over this functionality later. So yeah, so I can't really touch on that yet because it doesn't really work with these utensils we've got here. Basic functionality on its own without any sounds. I'm just going to point out that the paint's basically the same on the other side as well. Got an on-off switch as well. Functionality is pretty simple on its own without any electronic involvement. You push the trigger, you've got a little... you push the tail, nothing happens because there's a little locking mechanism where you move this little slider down. Doing so allows you to open the mouth of the device like this. Actually, see if I can get it done on another angle. Like that, and it only works when this is being pushed down. Sure, you could release it first, and then sure, you can unlock it, then open it, and then lock it back up again. Doing that will not really do anything. Oh, it will. Oh, it'll get stuck in a position. There you go. So it's got an unlock state, and it's got a lock state. So it'll lock in this position, and it'll lock in this position too. So you need to have the switch for those two things. Other than that, very, very nice item. I think the trigger guard's a nice touch, although when I tried, because they normally spin the gun around their index finger, and I couldn't do that. I'm sure that it was done with some practice, or they used a bigger trigger guard, but I don't know. It was done with some practice, probably. This does fit my hand. Don't forget, I am not the target demographic for these items at all, so that's very impressive. But yeah, this is obviously done. They obviously size these items in mind of adult collectors as well, because look, it fits my hand. The American equivalent, the Dino Charge Monster, which we will get to later, it just about fits, but it feels like there's a bit of like a tight strain on this little finger here. So yeah, I really should stop talking about its American cousin. I should be talking about this. Okay, so by turning it on, we will hear this with some lights. That's the standard on noise. It's wobbling. There's a firing noise. Also, the only colour this LED lights up is red, which I don't mind at all. Firing it will just create one sound, which is this. Of course, you can spam it like always. Opening the little mouth will make this sound, and closing it will do this. Of course, when the barrel open, the firing effect is taken away. Because technically you should be able to fire, so nothing happens and it is open. And now we're going to do a transformation using, well, we're going to try both, but for now we're just going to do Gaburevolver. So brave in! There we go, and then we open the mouth of this. And then we slide because inside there's 2 barrels. If we can get this to work. As you can see, there's 2 barrels. With the caps on orange, very important that. There's two barrels. Both have got a circuit with just 6 pins inside. Those pins are very tiny. Like these little, hang on, can we move this close enough so you can see inside? Can we? Just about, you could just about see those 6 pins. They are very tiny though, so hacking it will not be easy. Probably best to use 3D printing stuff. Right. One more thing is that you can insert these udenshies any which way you want. You can use the front side or you can use the back side based on how they've got pins at either side. We're going to be doing it like this so you can tell which udenshi we are using. So for start, Gaburevolver. Insertion noise. There is a release noise because there's 2 little triggers here which you can move. This front one is for the lower barrel and the top one's for the top barrel. Probably didn't hear that. Let's try that again. There we go. By pushing in and closing it, you'll hear a noise, which is unique to each udenshi, well, presumably. And pulling the trigger won't do anything different, but by spinning the barrel, you'll get the standby music, and then you get to shoot and transform. Samba music for some reason. Fire! So, yeah, the samba music, it's not... I don't think it's really explained in Kyoryuger. Why is it samba? No clue. I don't get it. I really don't. I'm sorry. I mean, the samba music's nice and all, but I don't know why they bothered including that feature. Be unique. Of course, this would be one thing Power Rangers cut out, of course, because they've got to make it explainable over there. Samba music apparently won't flow well over there, which is ironic because we had Olympic Games recently, and those are international. Lol. Right. Pulling the trigger after the transformation, we'll do this. Nothing. Spinning the barrel will cause the samba music to appear again, which is odd. Yeah, so that's all. No, actually, scratch that. Spinning the barrel, I think, will start a new attack. My memories are a bit fuzzy, but let's try anyways. Yes, it does. Stand by. Trigger. Spinning the barrel, pulling the trigger will get you an attack noise. The voice being different for each Zyudenshi. So that means we've got to try Stamero out too. And yes, these do get shot at with quite some force. Anyway, we have Stamero in the lower barrel this time. Let's try this. Stamero. He says that for some reason. Doesn't even sound like he's saying Stamero at all. Transforming noise is the same, but the attack noise will be slightly different because instead of saying Gaboon, he will say something else. There we go, he does say something different. And now we are going to do a 2 Zyudenshi attack. For the first one, we're going to put Gaburevolver in the bottom barrel, like this. I'm going to put Stamero in the top barrel, like this, so both barrels will be loaded up. Wasn't reading it for a second there, but when we close it, we will hear a double Zyudenshi noise, so one Zyudenshi name after the other. because it reads both. Spinning the barrel now, I think we'll start off an attack, I think. So it says both Zyuden attack voices, one after the other, which is unique, I guess. And now one more different thing is that when you open and close the dino mouth again, you will hear another attack noise, which is the final attack noise, I believe. Spinning the barrel this time will give you this. And for the record, if we push the trigger, well, we can do this over and over again. Let's just watch. Pushing the trigger before spinning the barrel for a final attack will do nothing. And of course you can swap these Zyuden around because we used Gaburevolver in the bottom barrel and Stamero in the top barrel. If we swap these around, so we have Stamero in the bottom barrel and Gaburevolver in the top barrel, we will of course get a different noise. Because well, it's the same kind of, he still says Gaboon and Meraroon, but of course he'll say it in a different tone of voice, which is a bit strange. He says it in more like a quiet tone if it's in the bottom, and he says it more and more like excited tone towards the top. In the top barrel, of course. When doing the attack, of course. The standard attack voice will of course be the voice heard when the Zyuden is inserted into the top barrel. The bottom barrel noise, as in this case the one you just heard from Meraroon, will just be exclusive to Zyuden attack. Mechamucho. I don't think the Mechamucho attack noise will do much difference. But yeah, that's about everything this does. Just with the two Zyuden you are given. So, not bad for a little henshin device item. And of course, we're going to do a comparison between this and the Dino Charge Morpher. But before that, we're going to do a comparison between the Gaburevolver Zyuden and the T-Rex Charger from Power Rangers Dino Charge. And yes, before you say anything, I do not have the American version of this, is the Zyuden. So we're going to skip this one. These two I do have a comparison for though. As you can see, the grey colouring is of course the kind of the same with how it's not metallic. Sticker's the same, but the numbering on this isn't coloured in, I think. But on certain other batteries for this, I think they were, but I don't know. There's no yellow paint on the top, which is okay. I can give them a pass. There is of course no holographic sticker because I like to omit that. This has two sides. As you can see, we've got a Brave Out state and a Brave In state. For the American version, we have 4 slides because they shoehorned or phoned in these little half normal, half glow in the dark states, which is odd. So this one's got 2, this one's got 4. Don't know why they did that. Of course, on the American versions, the pins are not on both sides. On the left side, we have a QR code for the app. And on the other side, we do have pins, of course, with the little grey dot in the centre. And on the back, we do not have the character name. We instead have the proper dinosaur name, in this case, Tyrannosaurus Rex, because they omitted these names, Gaburevolver. So that's fair enough in my book. And now we're going to do a direct comparison between the two guns. Is the volume off for this one? Yes, it is. As you can see, we have the Gaburevolver and the Dino Charge Morpher on the side. Damn it. And the size is pretty... Yeah, the Gaburevolver is obviously the bigger one of the bunch. Obviously, there are no orange caps on the Japanese version. There are some orange caps on the American version, though, for like safety reasons. If you were to look at this from a distance, would you be able to tell it was a toy gun? I suppose they've got their reasons, I suppose. There's a lot of black paint missing from the top of this version, as you can see. This head likes to wobble around a bit too. They did replace the grey paint on the front with silver, which is okay. That's all nice. The silver paint on the teeth stays. The paint missing from the bottom of the gun is very noticeable. Like on the bottom part here. If you can see that, there is a lot of missing paint. There's no release buttons on the American version, although they are moulded where they are supposed to be. Here. Which is a bit odd. Here's this on the other side as well. Paint stays the same on the other side too. There's some silver paint missing from the side here. There's paint missing from the handle as well. Paint missing from the tail as well. Okay, so okay. There's a lot of paint missing from this item. There's paint missing here, but they did keep the metallic silver, which is that's okay. You know, I don't really mind the orange caps too much, which is controversial, but whatever. Of course, the little attachment box is of course different. These two top ones are the release buttons. Instead of having release buttons on the side, these two buttons up here do the job for you. We'll get to this functionality in the next video, as it has a direct comparison with the Gaburevolver de Kyoryuger. The functionality is also a bit different because while the Japanese version has like a release trigger here, so you can open this, the American version completely misses out that release trigger by just insisting you just do this. There we go. Of course, there's no trigger guard on the American version too, which is a bit of a shame because I don't know. It was just there for the little gun twirling, but some people. All right. Of course, the American version is missing the top barrel and only has the bottom barrel. It also misses one pin from its pin system. It only has 5 pins on the Japanese one has 6 pins. Inserting the gimmicks work the same way, of course. There are no 2 release triggers. Instead, there's one release button either side, as you can see, where if you push them, the charger comes out. It just slides. It doesn't come out with much force. Yes, but they did manage to mold the places where the release triggers should have been. As you can see, there's like a little rectangle here, there's a little rectangle there. Barrel spins the same way, which I'm just glad they kept that feature in. Which is not sarcasm, because this is one of the main features. Now, I know this is very unusual for this channel, but I've got a gripe with the Japanese version. Close this. It's called constructive criticism. Well, actually, no, that criticism's overruled. I'm trying to remember now if because on Power Rangers Dino Charge, during the morph sequence, the barrel of the morpher will turn different colours, like one different colour for each ranger. I cannot remember if it did the same, if it did that for Kyoryuger, but as it stands for Dino Charge, it would have been nice to have a feature where the barrel would glow different colours, but I can understand the colour changing LEDs can't be too cheap, because I've recently ordered and received a Phaser Blaster from Kyoryuger from 2017. That'll be coming on a review soon. That has got a colour changing LED, and yes, the amount of times I've seen colour changing LEDs like that, it's not very high, by the way. They can't be too cheap because they've got to glow in multiple colours. So I think, yeah, if they were to make like a more deluxe version of this item, like a bigger version, more in scale with this one, for example, sell it at a Comic-Con, for instance. If they did that, they might have been able to add the colour changing LED, because the stuff sold in Comic-Con ain't cheap. They might have done one in the same scale. You see, that's a thing. That's a thing, really, because think about it. Back in the 90s, they used to sell the Japanese equivalents in American shelves. And in Korea, it's the same. They do sell the same Japanese items, just have changed sounds. For example, you could buy this same item in Japan, and in Korea. Except in Korea, it would be labelled as Power Rangers Dino Force and not Kyoryuger. Of course, this meant that all the sounds would change too, so if Korea can do that, why can't America? Especially considering how Hasbro has got involved. Hasbro is the toy company. You'd think they'd want to do stuff like this. Because it's quality, it's what Hasbro is known for, it'll give them a better reputation. But no, they screw off with whatever the hell the Striker Morpher gun is. So, Hasbro, you've really missed a trick. The toy company missing a trick. I can't understand. Like, they could have imported this with a colour changing LED and a slightly higher price point, and they would have probably been able to do it. And their argument would have been, oh, if it's too expensive, the parents won't buy it. Which is a fair argument. Oh, yes, that is a fair argument, but still, this has got a bit more functionality. It's got two barrels. There's more potential for noise attacks and stuff. It's got a double attack function where, you transform it as Metsumicho afterwards. That's another attack. They could have repurposed it so the top barrel noises would have been entirely different. They would have been able to market it as every charger has two different sounds or something like that, because that just sounds like the thing Hasbro would like to do. But no, for some reason, yeah, I know this one was released under Bandai of America, but if Hasbro really, because Hasbro was so infatuated with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they could have easily, I don't know, I don't know why it was just Mighty Morphin Power, no, nostalgia of course. But the fact they could have gone back to these earlier, more recent changes and say, right, we're going to do a release version, a re-release, they could have done that. But for some reason they didn't, because honestly, Bandai of Japan somewhere must have some overstock at the very least. Because, oh my god, Hasbro's the toy company and they were making poor decisions relating to the things they were supposed to be good at. That's bonkers. I don't get that. I don't get that. And one more thing I will do before finishing this video is, of course, I will do the obvious thing where I see if the Japanese Zyuden will fit inside the American Morpher and vice versa. Let's get these out quickly. Trying to do it so they don't launch out. Of course, the Japanese Zyuden will not fit inside the American Morpher because they look just a bit tad too big. Just a tad too big. But the crazy thing, right, is that, yeah, the American chargers will fit inside of the Japanese changer, like this. But they don't unlock any sounds, despite the fact they've got the pin system, because my understanding is the width of the Zyuden isn't, compared to charger, it's not big enough. So this effectively misses all the pins it's supposed to be able to hit, because if you look, these pins on the Japanese version, they look a bit bigger compared to the American version. So the American version misses the Japanese pins. I think if you could fit the Japanese Zyuden into the American Morpher, it would hit a bunch of pins. Oh, look at me! I just looked for a release trigger on this. It's not there. So yeah, that's the review of the Gaburevolver and the Dino Charge Morpher. Two very unique items, I will say. The American version nearly gets it right, like very nearly, 95% of the way there. 96, 97% even. It's very nearly there. Yes, I already know the Morpher concept can work without the second barrel. That's what they cut out. That's not entirely... the functionality is not entirely resting on that function of the second barrel. So they cut that out and they knew that wouldn't be too much of a loss. So with that in mind, this is the closest Morpher, I think, to a Japanese counterpart I can think of, because they were very close. In fact, I'm inclined to say that if you take away the unnecessary functionality that they knew that they wouldn't need to have, the missing paint and the fact there's no fancy double like Metro Mucho sound equivalent or there's no release trigger, I'd say this is the most accurate Power Rangers Morpher to a Sentai equivalent. I'd say that. Hand on heart, I believe that this is the most, this is the nearest they've got to successfully replicating a Japanese changer. I think they were spot on with this. Of course, the only problem is now is that it won't really stand, because one touch and it falls over like that. And I've got to go now. And in case you're wondering what the next video is, it'll of course be Gaburevolver de Carnival, which is the funny T-Rex Trumpy thing. This comparison. So, ta-ra!